Hi, welcome to the Big Bear Homestead. And today we're going to be talking about getting ready for the 2019 deer season. Today we're going to focus on food plots. Okay, so let's talk food plots. Well, the first thing we need to talk about, and it's really not even a discussion, it's just homework. You have to check with your state laws to see what your laws are when it comes to putting out a food plot or putting out bait stations or mineral blocks or anything like that. How can, like the law in Georgia used to be, you can hunt over a food plot or even corn, but the moment that the corn goes from standing upright to laying down, it is no longer a food plot. It is now considered bait, and they could have fined you. But they've changed the law in Georgia last year, I think it was, where you can now hunt over bait. But check with your state laws to see what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. They may say that you're allowed to put out a food plot, but you got to be within 200 or 300 yards of it to be able to hunt. So that way you can hunt them coming and going from the food plot, not just in the food plot. Here, I'm allowed to hunt in the food plot or over bait. So then the next thing we need to talk about is the location. Where do you want to stick your food plot? Well, for me, here on my homestead, I've got this very back portion that's probably about a half an acre. If you include the hardwoods, maybe an acre. Here where it pretty much is segregated itself because there is a old ditch or an old creek that runs down through there that kind of separates my back pasture, kind of divides it in two. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a fence to keep the cows out, run a quick little fence down here to separate it, at least until my food plot starts to germinate, starts to get up and get good and healthy. Because if the deer jump over the fence, that's what I want. I don't want the cows jumping over you know what I mean. Anyway, location. So I'm choosing this spot, but I'm choosing it not just because of how it segregated itself. I have hardwoods straight in front of me, and then I also have hardwoods behind me off to the right. Over here on my left, I have a mixture of hardwoods and some pines. Also, down here on my right, I have the creek, and then further up is the beaver pond. So I already have natural food sources, water source, and bedding areas. Bedding down in the pines and bedding down over in the mixed hardwoods, and also bedding down in the pines and stuff over here on my left, right behind, or depends on where you're coming from, right in front of the beaver pond. And so I already got good natural areas. Plus, in front of me, we have the, like I stated before, we have the hardwoods. But then on the other side of that is I have a farm. And in that farm right now, this year, they're planting soybeans. So this is a really good year for me. Last year, they didn't plant anything over there. But this year, he's got soybeans planted. So now I've got another food source over there. So in this food plot, it would behoove me not to plant a soybean. It would behoove me to plant some type of a leafy green type of material, because they have the hardwoods, they got the soybeans, they got the water, and they got, of course, the bedding. It gives them a variety. Eventually, I would like to plant a crabapple tree, some persimmon trees, and some pear trees down in that bottom and mixed in those hardwoods over there to also give them that variety. The more of a variety that you give them, the more choices that you give them, the more that they will come around to your area. So once you've got your location picked, then it's just cleaning up the area, preparing the ground, planting your seed, doing your best to try to get it watered, and then just wait. Now, there's a lot more science that we could dive into when it comes to food plots, when you're talking about nutrition for the deer for antler growth, or nutrition for to help them overwinter. And then we can talk about the soil conditions to make the biologic grow or your leafy green grow, and blah, 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 blah. But as homesteaders, to be honest with you, I am not an antler hunter. I'm a meat hunter. So that really doesn't really matter to me. It's not on my priority list. Now, granted, I'll be happy if a big old comes walking by. I'm not going to let him walk, you know. But in the same aspect, if a doe comes walking by and it's a doe day, I'm going to take her because I'm a meat hunter. Okay, well, that does it for this video on food plots. The next video in this series, we're going to talk about tree stands, talking about their location and how to choose the right trees to hang your tree stands for deer season. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead. God bless, and have a nice day.